In the vast expanse of space, humanity had always thought of itself as a small fish in a cosmic ocean. That was until we discovered just how special our little blue marble really was. My grandfather used to tell me stories about the days before first contact, back when we dreamed of being welcomed into a grand galactic community. Funny how things turned out so differently. I remember the day the Galactic Council's envoys first arrived on Earth. Their gleaming ships descended through our atmosphere like falling stars, bringing with them promises of advancement and brotherhood among the stars. They called themselves the Guardians of Peace, the Shepherds of younger races. We were to be their latest project, another species to guide into their version of civilization. What they didn't expect was our planet itself. Earth, as it turns out, had shaped us in ways that made the Council's collective jaw drop, all 17 species of them. You see, we didn't just survive on our world. We thrived in what they considered a death world. Every single Council species evolved on planets with minimal tectonic activity, predictable weather patterns, and stable atmospheres. But Earth threw everything it had at us. Earthquakes, hurricanes, volcanic eruptions. We built our cities right next to them. Extreme temperatures from the poles to the equator. We made homes in all of them. The Council scientists couldn't believe we'd evolved on a planet where the very air could kill you in the form of lightning strikes, where the ground could split open without warning, where water regularly fell from the sky. Your species, the Council's chief researcher told us, should have gone extinct 1,000 times over. The way her third eye twitched when she said it still makes me chuckle. But it was what we discovered next that really shook their carefully ordered worldview. They wanted to help us terraform Earth, to fix its volatile nature. That's when we showed them our planetary defense data. Turns out, all those natural disasters they feared, they'd been protecting us all along. Every asteroid that could have ended us like the dinosaurs. Pulled apart by our gravity or knocked off course by our magnetic field. Every potentially hostile alien probe from centuries past. Destroyed by random lightning strikes or buried under sudden mudslides. Earth wasn't trying to kill us. She was training us, toughening us up like a stern but loving parent. And she had been actively defending her children since before we even knew we needed protection. The data we presented to the Council caused such an uproar that 3 species fainted, which I didn't even know was possible for some of their physiologies. The revelation that Earth had been automatically neutralizing external threats for millennia sent shockwaves through their society. Suddenly, their primitive new species didn't seem so primitive anymore. But here's where things get really interesting. During the Council's latest session, when they were discussing our admission status, something unprecedented happened. Our planet, as if sensing the condescension in their debates about our worthiness, decided to put on a show. Right in the middle of their most important diplomatic event in centuries, Earth reminded everyone just who they were dealing with. I was there in the Council chambers when it all went down. The looks on their faces as our dangerous and unstable world demonstrated exactly why they should think twice about underestimating either humanity or our motherland. Well, that's a story for part 2. Let's just say, Earth's response to their plans made the Council realize that perhaps they weren't the guardians they thought they were. Maybe, just maybe, they were the ones who needed guidance all along. The Council chambers fell into a deafening silence as the main display lit up with urgent alerts from Earth's orbit. Our planet's magnetic field had suddenly intensified to unprecedented levels, creating a shield so powerful it made the Council's most advanced scanning technology look like children's toys. But that was just the beginning. I watched from my position as Earth's junior diplomatic representative as the Council's most experienced members began to shift uncomfortably in their seats. Their species might have achieved spaceflight thousands of years before us, but none of them had ever witnessed anything like this. Our planet's core was pulsing with energy patterns that defied their scientific understanding. "This is impossible," whispered High Counselor Vex, their crystalline form reflecting the emergency lights that had started flashing throughout the chamber. "No planet should be able to alter its fundamental properties at will." The fear in their harmonic voice was unmistakable, and for good reason. You see, while the Council had been debating whether to fix Earth's volatile nature, They'd positioned their grand observation fleet in orbit around our planet. These ships represented the pinnacle of their technological achievement, massive city-sized vessels designed to implement their terraforming protocols. Now, these same ships were reporting system failures across the board. Earth's magnetic field wasn't just intensifying, it was reaching out, almost like tendrils of pure energy, gently but firmly pushing their fleet back. Not enough to damage the ships, mind you. Earth was showing restraint, like a parent moving a toddler away from a hot stove. The message was clear: back off. But the real shock came when the Council's ancient archives started displaying matching energy signatures from Earth's past. Times when their predecessors had sent automated probes to study our world, long before humans had even invented the wheel. Each time, Earth had responded with similar displays of power, protecting its developing children from interference. Your world, the archive keeper announced, their multiple appendages trembling as they processed the data, has been aware this entire time. It's been waiting. The chamber erupted in murmurs and exclamations in 100 different languages as the implications sank in. My grandfather's words came back to me then, something he'd said when I was small. The Earth isn't just our home, kid. It's our oldest ally. None of us had understood just how literal that statement was until now. The Council's science director, a being of pure energy contained within an environmental suit, approached me with what I could only interpret as reverence. Your species evolved on a conscious planet. They said, their form flickering with excitement or fear. I couldn't tell which. Do you have any idea how rare that is? I was about to respond when the chamber's main screens shifted again. Earth's energy field had begun forming patterns, complex, mathematical sequences that even the Council's most advanced AI struggled to decode. As we watched in amazement, these patterns started telling a story, one that went back millions of years. The Council members leaned forward in their seats, their previous condescension forgotten as Earth began revealing secrets that shattered everything they thought they knew about planetary evolution. But just as the first chapter of this cosmic revelation was about to unfold, something happened that made even Earth's display seem trivial in comparison. From the depths of space, another signal appeared, one that made every Council member freeze in terror. It seemed Earth wasn't the only conscious planet out there, and some of its siblings had been watching our little drama unfold with great interest. The question was, were they here as allies, or had Earth's display of power attracted a different kind of attention entirely? The new signals cascaded through the Council chambers like waves of liquid starlight, painting patterns across the walls that made our earlier display look like a child's finger painting. 3 distinct planetary signatures, each as unique as a fingerprint, each carrying the weight of eons in their pulses. The Council's translation matrix struggled to keep up, but one thing was clear: these weren't just random cosmic events. This was a conversation. "They're laughing," announced the science director, their energy form fluctuating rapidly as they processed the data. "The other conscious planets, they're actually laughing at us." The Council members exchanged nervous glances, their various anatomies displaying universal signs of discomfort. It's funny how fear looks the same across species when you get right down to it. The signals were coming from 3 different star systems, each one previously classified by the Council as too unstable for colonization. Turns out, they weren't unstable at all. They were protected, just like Earth. And now, after countless millennia of watching and waiting, they'd chosen this moment to reveal themselves. I felt a strange warmth in my chest as Earth's energy field responded to its cosmic siblings. Our planet's reply was filled with what I can only describe as pride. Pride in its children, in humanity. We hadn't just survived on a death world. We'd thrived under the guidance of a conscious planet that had been preparing us for something bigger all along. The Council's Grand Archive began correlating historical data at lightning speed. Every failed colonization attempt, every mysterious disappearance of automated surveys, every natural disaster that had protected primitive species across these star systems. It all formed a pattern. These planets weren't just conscious. They were guardians, choosing and nurturing species with potential. "But why reveal this now?" demanded High Counselor Vex, their crystalline form vibrating with barely contained anxiety. Why wait until? They stopped mid-sentence as the chamber's displays shifted again, showing something that made my blood run cold. At the edge of charted space, beyond the Council's territory, something was moving. Something big. The long-range sensors showed disturbances in space-time itself, ripples in the cosmic fabric that suggested the approach of entities that made our planetary guardians look like specks of dust in comparison. Earth's energy field pulsed with urgency now, its patterns becoming more complex, more focused. The other conscious planets joined in, their combined signals forming what could only be described as a warning. Humanity hadn't just been surviving random challenges. We'd been training. Earth hadn't just been protecting us. It had been preparing us. All those natural disasters, all those challenges that had forged us into survivors, they had a purpose. The council chamber fell into absolute silence as the translation matrix finally decoded part of the message. The devourers approach, it read, and the children must be ready. The term children didn't just mean humanity. It meant all the species that had evolved under the guidance of conscious planets. We weren't just random civilizations. We were chosen ones. As if to emphasize the point, Earth's magnetic field suddenly encompassed every human-made satellite and station in our solar system, linking them together in a network that hummed with power we never knew we had. The other guardian planets did the same with their chosen species, and in that moment, standing in the council chambers, I finally understood why Earth had been so protective of us. The real question wasn't whether we could survive on a death world. The real question was, could the galaxy survive what was coming without us? The council chambers erupted into chaos as the long-range sensors revealed something even more shocking. The devourers weren't just approaching from the edge of charted space. They were already here, hidden in plain sight. As the guardian planets combined their energy fields, they illuminated thousands of dormant seeds scattered throughout council space, artificial structures disguised as natural phenomena. "They've been waiting," I whispered, the realization hitting me like a punch to the gut. All those dead planets we'd written off as natural failures. The science director's energy form pulsed in agreement, their calculations confirming my worst fears. What we'd assumed were simply worlds that failed to develop life were actually previous battlegrounds, their conscious cores burned out in ancient conflicts we knew nothing about. Earth's signal suddenly shifted, displaying historical data that the Council had somehow missed. Every major leap in human technology, every seemingly random breakthrough that had pushed us toward the stars, they hadn't been random at all. Our planet had been subtly guiding our development, using its magnetic field to influence our dreams, our innovations, our very evolution. The other guardian planets confirmed similar relationships with their chosen species. Each civilization had been carefully crafted, their strengths and weaknesses deliberately complementary. Humanity's adaptability and tenacity, born from Earth's harsh training, the crystalline resilience of Vex's people, shaped by their world's constant pressure. Each species was a piece of a puzzle we hadn't even known existed. But it was what happened next that truly changed everything. As the guardian planets linked their energy fields, sharing information at speeds that made light look slow, they revealed the true nature of the Council itself. The governing body that had looked down on humanity, that had dismissed us as primitives from an unstable world, wasn't what it claimed to be. The Council, announced Earth's transmitted message, was created by the Devourers. The evidence was undeniable. Subtle energy signatures in the Council's founding documents, hidden protocols in their most basic laws, every regulation that had held back the development of primitive species, every rule about terraforming worlds to be more stable. They had all been designed to weaken potential resistance against the coming invasion. High Counselor Vex's crystalline form shattered in shock, reforming into a more primal shape that none of us had seen before. We were manipulated, they resonated, their voice carrying centuries of hidden truth. Our ancestors were guided away from their guardian worlds, taught to fear the very forces that could have protected us. The guardian planets' combined signal peaked, forming a visualization that made everyone in the chamber catch their breath. It showed the galaxy as it truly was, not a collection of random worlds and species, but a carefully designed battlefield. The conscious planets were like fortress worlds, strategically positioned to protect vital regions of space, and humanity, along with the other chosen species, had been created to be their defenders. Earth's magnetic field surged again, this time forming a direct connection with every human in the chamber. The sensation was indescribable, like having every cell in your body suddenly wake up and remember something vital you'd forgotten. We weren't just Earth's children. We were its partners, its champions, created to fight alongside it in a war that had been raging since before our species existed. But as the dormant devourer seeds began to activate across council space, as ancient machines stirred to life in the cores of dead worlds, we realized we were facing a choice. The council's laws, the very foundation of galactic civilization, were designed to prevent exactly what needed to be done. Standing there, feeling Earth's power flow through me, I knew that saving the galaxy meant destroying everything we thought we knew about it. And the clock was ticking. Time seemed to freeze in the council chambers as humanity made its choice. We didn't need to speak. Earth's connection let us share thoughts faster than words could express them. Through our planet's energy field, I felt the collective determination of every human present. We hadn't spent millennia surviving earthquakes, hurricanes, and volcanic eruptions just to bow down now. The Council's emergency protocols activated, ancient machinery humming to life in the walls around us. But before the containment fields could engage, something unprecedented happened. Every piece of human technology in the chamber, from our simple communicators to the most basic tools, began to resonate with Earth's energy. Our technology had always been subtly influenced by our planet's conscious core, and now that connection was awakening. The Council's authority is hereby dissolved, I announced, feeling the combined weight of humanity's resolve behind my words. As I spoke, the other chosen species representatives stood with us, their own guardian planets reaching across space to connect with their children. The chamber's systems, designed to control and contain, found themselves overwhelmed by something they'd never been programmed to handle: the combined will of multiple conscious planets working in harmony with their chosen species. That's when the Devourers made their final mistake. Realizing their carefully laid plans were unraveling, they triggered their dormant seeds ahead of schedule. Across council space, mechanical horrors beyond description began tearing their way out of supposedly dead worlds. But they emerged to find something they hadn't expected. We were ready. Earth's energy field expanded beyond anything we'd previously seen, linking with its sibling planets to create a network of pure power that encompassed entire sectors of space. Through this network, every chosen species could feel their guardian planet's strength flowing through them. Humanity's adaptability, combined with the unique abilities of our alien allies, turned into something the Devourers had never encountered before: true cooperation between worlds and their children. The battle that followed would rewrite galactic history. The Devourers' machines, designed to fight against either planetary powers or technological civilizations, found themselves facing both at once. Every tactic they tried was met with an impossible combination of natural forces and artificial ingenuity. Humanity's centuries of dealing with natural disasters had taught us how to work with immense powers rather than against them. But the real turning point came when we discovered what the Devourers actually were, or rather, what they had once been. Hidden in Earth's deepest memories, in patterns of energy older than our species, we found the truth. The Devourers were failed experiments, conscious planets that had rejected their role as guardians and turned against their own children. They weren't invaders from outside. They were tragic reflections of what our own worlds could have become without love for their chosen species. This understanding changed everything. Earth and its sibling planets didn't just fight back. They reached out to the corrupted cores of the Devourer worlds, offering a chance at redemption. The final battle wasn't won with weapons or energy fields, but with something uniquely human: empathy, combined with our stubborn refusal to give up on a worthy cause. As the dust settled and the transformed council chambers lay in ruins around us, we realized we achieved more than just victory. We discovered a new way forward, not the rigid control of the old council, nor the chaotic freedom the Devourers had sought, but a true partnership between worlds and their children. Earth's final message, shared across the galaxy through the Guardian Planets network, summed it up perfectly. The age of separation is over. The real evolution begins now. Looking at the stunned faces of former council members and feeling the warm pulse of Earth's energy field around us, I couldn't help but smile. We hadn't just survived this crisis. We'd remade the galaxy into something better. But as celebrations erupted across council space, as former enemies began the long process of becoming allies, a single anomalous signal pulsed from the galactic core. Something else had been watching our struggle, something far older than even the guardian planets, and it had just reached a decision about our worthiness to inherit the galaxy. The signal from the galactic core wasn't like anything we'd seen before. Not even the guardian planets could fully decode it, but its impact was unmistakable. Every conscious world in the galaxy, including the reformed Devourer planets, resonated with what I can only describe as recognition, like children hearing their parents' voice for the first time in ages. As we watched in awe, the core of our galaxy began to pulse with patterns that made Earth's earlier displays look simple in comparison. The science director's energy form practically danced with excitement as they announced what their readings were showing. The entire galaxy was alive. Not just individual planets, but the whole cosmic dance of stars, planets, and space itself was part of a grand, living system. We saw only pieces of the puzzle. My grandfather's voice echoed in my memory. He would have loved to see this moment. The revelation that Earth wasn't just our guardian, but part of something even greater. The conscious planets were like neurons in a galactic brain, and their chosen species were the new thoughts taking shape within it. The signal carried more than just awareness. It carried approval. Through our connection with Earth, we understood that our recent conflict had been a test. The galaxy itself had been waiting to see how we would handle the challenge of the Devourers. Would we destroy them, control them, or find a way to heal them? By choosing empathy and redemption over victory and dominance, humanity and its allies had proven ourselves ready for the next step. The guardian planets had trained us well, not just to survive, but to understand the deeper rhythms of life itself. All those natural disasters that had shaped human history suddenly made perfect sense. They weren't just challenges, they were lessons in harmony with forces greater than ourselves. As the galactic core's message faded, it left behind something unprecedented. A new form of connection between all conscious beings, whether planetary or human scale. The rigid hierarchies of the old council were replaced by something organic and alive, a network of cooperation that respected both the ancient wisdom of the guardian worlds and the innovative spirit of their chosen children. Looking around the transformed council chambers, I saw former enemies working together to build something new. The crystalline people sharing their resilience, energy beings teaching others about the flow of cosmic forces, and humans doing what we do best, adapting, innovating, and bringing people together in unexpected ways. Earth's energy field wrapped around me like a proud parent's embrace, sharing visions of possibilities that made my head spin. We weren't just going to rebuild. We were going to transform the galaxy into something none of us could have imagined alone. The age of isolation was truly over, replaced by an era of conscious cooperation between worlds and their children. As I prepare to end this record of how everything changed, I can feel Earth's gentle reminder through our connection. The story doesn't really end here. In many ways, it's just beginning. The galaxy is alive and aware, and we're all part of its ongoing evolution. Those natural disasters that once seemed like Earth's vicious revenge, they were really just the first letters in a language we're only now learning to speak. My grandfather was right all along. Earth isn't just our home or our ally. It's our teacher, showing us how to be part of something greater than ourselves. And out there, in the living galaxy that's watching us grow, there are wonders beyond imagination waiting for us to discover them together. But those are stories for another time. For now, I'll leave you with Earth's simplest and most profound lesson. In a living universe, there are no mere survivors, only students learning to dance with forces far greater than themselves. And sometimes, the most powerful force of all is the courage to reach out and help others learn to dance too.